Hey guys, Joseph Haddings here for one of the last reviews of 2020. Our subject today is Vasen's conclusion to their Micro Four Thirds lineup, the 65mm T2 1.8 anamorphic lens. After the review of the 65mm, I'm looking at the 3-lens set as a whole, so if you want to skip straight to that, use the markers in the video timeline or check the description. In terms of usability on the field, the 65 is a very fun and straightforward lens. Just plug your camera behind it and head out to shoot. Focus is easy and smooth, as well as iris. Considering the current availability of MFT cameras, you'll definitely get better use of the Vasen on the Z-Cam or Panasonic bodies, as opposed to Blackmagic's, just because of the difference between their anamorphic modes. Sticking to their original plans, Vasen's 65mm was made for MFT mount only, and it looks a lot like the 40mm, but a bit longer at 18.5 centimeters or 7.3 inches. It's a fairly heavy lens, weighing about 1.7 kilograms or 3.75 pounds, and after playing with the 28mm, it feels bigger than it needs to be. Aperture ranges from T2 to T16, and close focus comes down, where's my marker? And close focus comes down to 1.1 meters or 3 foot 7 inches, with a throw of about 300 degrees. Both iris and focus rings have standard gears on them, and here we also see that thing that I pointed out on the 85mm review, where the imperial distance scale is measured in fractions of feet instead of feet and inches. It's an easy fix that will make ACs all over the world happier. Unlike the 40mm, this lens has an 86mm front thread for filters, which is great, and an outer diameter of 95mm, which is compatible with a wide range of cine accessories such as clamp-on matte boxes. The squeeze factor is 1.8, which is a perfect match for cameras capable of 4x3 recording. In the MFT universe, that is Panasonic's GH5, GH5S, and more recently the BGH1. 1.8 squeeze with 4x3 recording will give you a 2.4:1 aspect ratio right out of the box in post-production, without the need for any cropping. The lens costs the same as the other ones in the set, $3,250 US, and you can get it at Vasen's website, as well as B&H Photo and other retailers. About its resolving power, Vasen's 65mm is a good performer, with good sharpness across the frame. You can see some chromatic aberration at play with green and magenta peaking on high contrast edges. Flares are consistent with the other Vasen lenses, cool purple-blue tones, and no surprises here. When it comes to sensor coverage, while featuring an MFT mount, this particular lens on the lineup is capable of covering Super 35 sensors. Unfortunately, the only situation where you can make use of this extra coverage is when shooting with the Z-Cam's full-frame model and the MFT mount. On regular MFT sensors, the 65mm gives you a 72mm horizontal field of view and 130mm vertical field of view. Distortion is pretty controlled since it's such a long focal length. On a crop sensor, barely any line bending can be seen. Due to the shared focusing method with the 40mm using a variable strength diopter, your field of view changes through the focus range, widening by about 10% at close focus. This is much better than having a change in the squeeze factor through the range, as the squeeze remains the same, 1.8. Since we're talking about a set here, it's worth pointing out a few things that Vazen did good and other things that could have been improved on their first full set. These lenses are visually consistent in terms of color rendition and flares. That's a good start. No weird color changes between them. And the 28mm is tiny in comparison to the other two. And that's the result of a different focusing mechanism. This gives a different feel to the footage as it affects how the lenses breathe and how they rack focus. I think this would have been a much stronger set if they all followed the focusing style of the 28mm, which would make for smaller and lighter lenses as opposed to the big lenses that we have now. The inconsistent sizing is a big deal for me, especially when compared to a cine lens environment. A consequence of the different sizes is the placement of all the gears is slightly different on each lens, meaning you'll have to adjust your motors every time you switch lenses. This might be a minor thing for some, but it's a pretty big deal as you move up in the budget line. The same issue applies to the consistent filter threads and matte box compatibility, which ended up being very different on every lens. We got 77mm threads on the 28, 86mm threads on the 65, and no threads on the 40. It would be cool if Vazen offered some sort of attachment for all the lenses to normalize this if you buy a full set from them. Now, onto the good stuff. The 1.8 squeeze factor is pretty awesome. Pairing it with an exclusive MFT mount is very clever for 4x3 shooting, although limiting the number of potential users. In terms of pricing, the Vazens are much more affordable than other cine anamorphic lenses out there. They still feel pricey compared to Siray's offerings or the initial investment of a DIY adapter setup. This, combined with a limited mount availability, puts this set in an awkward position market-wise. If your main camera is MFT, then this is a great choice. But if you're shooting like me, where your B cam is MFT and your main camera has a bigger sensor, that's a harder call. This can change in the future depending on Vazen's full frame lineup. It might make for a pricier main set, but a more affordable B set. If the looks are consistent, it could be a winning strategy, not only for anamorphics, but to boost into the MFT size in general. There's lots to discuss here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Vazen lineup in the comments below. If you got any questions about the 65mm, also shoot them here and I'll do my best to reply. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. And if you're into anamorphics but aren't subscribed yet, you'll be shocked to see how much more content there is on the archives. Just remember to subscribe before starting to explore. Thank you so much for hanging out and I hope you have an excellent week. Chito Ferradans, out.